Welcome to the Beau Show. In one of my recent shows, I interviewed musician Michael Graves, and we had a great conversation about artistry and expression and how conservative musicians are typically shunned and liberal ones are exalted. For the longest time, this has dissuaded many in the entertainment industry from making any political statements, not only because it could alienate half their audience, but also because of the potential career blowback. Conservatives are heavily punished, or canceled is a better word, if they ever even hint that they might have a conservative ideology, which is ironic, considering the fact that liberalism contends that it is tolerant and accepting of all views and colors of the rainbow. But in this first year of Joe Biden's administration, we have seen a more bold level of outspokenness, some of which has come from some more surprising voices. I want to profile a few of those voices who are using their platform and audience to raise awareness for what is happening here in this country. The reason that I'm going to focus on these individuals is not because that they confirm my own bias about my political likes or dislikes, but rather because they are saying or singing some common sense things that go against groupthink and the bullying that we have witnessed in entertainment, which may signal a watershed moment in freedom of speech in the industry. The first person that I'd like to spotlight is country singer Jason Aldean. Recently, his wife Brittany posted some anti-Biden clothing that she and her kids were wearing on social media. Her most recent post showed her sitting next to her husband Jason wearing a shirt that read Anti-Biden Social Club. Her kids had on shirts that said Hidin' from Biden. She said that she's been encouraged by people who have privately messaged her because they could not make such an overt political statement themselves for fear of backlash or career jeopardy. Brittany encouraged people to do their research and not bully people who may feel differently from you. Of course, some Karen out there decided to criticize the Aldeans, accusing them of using their kids as political props. And that's when Jason, who was not wearing any politically charged apparel, sounded off. He commented, "Watch your mouth, lady. We will teach our kids what we think is right and what we think is best for their future. If you think what is happening right now is great for the future of our kids and grandkids, you are delusional. Definitely better than what we got now. Please tell me one thing that the current administration has done that is positive. Just one." In 2016, Aldean told Rolling Stone that politics is a no-win situation and a subject he stays away from. Aldean seems to be coming out of his shell a little bit by questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election and commenting to his audience that he's over this whole mask thing. What's interesting is that whoever commented on Brittany Aldean's post made a comment about his kids, which honestly should be off limits. But some people take shots below the belt whenever they can. So Jason Aldean decided to shoot right back and express his opinion about Joe Biden's tumultuous first 9 months in office. Country stars getting political dates back to the infamous Dixie Chicks comment about George Bush that they say got them blacklisted. Since that time, not many country singers have made overt political statements other than perhaps Trace Adkins and Toby Keith, if nothing else for the venues and events where they have performed. However, a number of country singers liked that post by Brittany Aldean, and a like sometimes is a silent endorsement. Carrie Underwood liked a tweet by conservative commentator Matt Walsh, who was questioning the mask mandates in Nashville public schools. She also liked an Instagram post by Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, who was giving parents an opportunity to opt out of the mask mandates. And her husband, former NHL star Mike Fisher, commented on that post a resounding "thank you." The couple has 2 children, so this obviously hits home for them. And frankly, what she's supporting is freedom and choice, not any candidate or political view. Underwood is also rather quiet on politics, but I think that these social media subtle likes are indications of where she and others stand. Aldean must agree with Underwood because he posted about Gavin Newsom's vaccine mandates for kids just this past weekend. He writes, "So let me get this straight. It is no longer our decisions as parents or free Americans to make decisions about our kids. Gavin Newsom makes those decisions for us now? You gotta be kidding me. People in California should be outraged, and people everywhere else better start standing up and speaking out now. This is not how America and being free works." You know, sometimes it takes just one person to take a stand so that it gives confidence to others. People may assume that country music is a safe place for more conservative singers to express more conservative ideas, but I think that Hollywood, the media, and big tech have bullied anything right of center to be silent. And just 9 months of a Biden administration has emboldened certain artists to speak out, like Jason Aldean. To take this one step further, Aldean created a separate Instagram post saying the following: "I will never apologize for my beliefs or my love for my family and country. This is the greatest country in the world, and I want to keep it that way." I admire the fact that Aldean is unapologetic in his beliefs and his love for his country. We need more of this. His post was not pro or anti-Biden. He is arguing for solidarity of your beliefs and American exceptionalism. It has become a bit passé to think of America as exceptional, with many people using our freedom of speech to just blast our country for its flaws. Everything has become revisionist and post-American, a desire to make America not great again, but be more globalist. To be fair, any use of our taxpayer money sent to other countries, especially who don't act in our best interest, is a reduction of America. It's not selfish to do what is best for your citizens first and then others later. Take the border, for example. We hear so much about immigrant rights and not much about what rights we as citizens have, particularly in terms of speech and expression. Alyssa Milano, notable for her vocal liberal and pro-Democrat beliefs, decided to take a political shot at Aldean by posting the following: "Country star Jason Aldean used to keep his politics private. Now his toddlers are on Instagram wearing anti-Biden t-shirts." So her caption on that was, "No comment needed." This is highly ironic because, of course, Milano is commenting. She is upset that a country music artist that she doesn't even listen to is being just as vocal about his anti-Biden sentiment as she is her pro-Biden sentiment. Imagine if Aldean posted a pic of Milano at the Brett Kavanaugh hearing that read, "No comment needed." It would be just as valid, but I prefer Aldean's way of handling it. Number one, he came to the defense of his kids. Number two, he challenged those keyboard Karens out there to name one good thing that Biden had done. Alyssa Milano has been horrific in terms of her political naivete. And I don't say that just because she's a liberal, but because she's delusional. The whole sit-in on the Kavanaugh hearing was just pathetic. She knew nothing about it, but wanted to grandstand. So it's highly hypocritical for Milano to rip on Aldean for getting vocal and expressing his opinion when she herself has been more than vocal quite often. She's just upset Aldean recognizes Biden's failures. Aldean has had a lot of success in the country music business, and I don't think his opinions are going to lose him any fans. Most of his fans want to come see his shows. Music fans are tired of the restriction and the postponement or cancellation of shows. Now I want to turn the attention to another country singer, Aaron Lewis, who recorded a song called "Am I the Only One?" This very provocative song has the following lyrics: "Am I the only one willing to bleed or take a bullet for being free? Screaming what the F at my TV? For telling me, yeah, are you telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and the white and the blue, burning on the ground, another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone?" That's pretty clear. And he even takes a shot at another musical great. He sings, "Am I the only one who quit singing along every time they play a Springsteen song?" I think what Aaron Lewis is implying here is that Bruce Springsteen, for all of his musical legendary status, has sung solely for Democrats, and even the inauguration of Joe Biden. It has tainted his image a bit, even from being the guy who sang Born in the USA. Where is that Bruce? Lewis's song is a cry to find commonality in numbers. He thinks, I can't be the only one who feels like this, even if the media and everyone else tries to tell me otherwise. That's what happens when you get bullied. You think that no one else thinks like you do, so you should just shut up. Remember that just about every rapper praised or wanted to be Donald Trump before he became president. And then you got lovely songs like F Donald Trump. But oh, how the tides have turned. You are now seeing most college stadiums that are gleefully enjoying a new ritual chant. At the NASCAR race this past week in Talladega, Brandon Brown won. And as reporters talked to him, a similar chant broke out.
Thank you to all of our partners. Oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go Brandon. Brandon, you told me you were going to kind of hang back those first two stages and just watch.
The NBC reporter tried to cover this by saying that they were chanting, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon. Nice try, but I don't think so. Similarly, Aaron Lewis led this chant at a recent concert in Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, I know that these chants may seem a bit juvenile, but it does speak to a groundswell of support for this sentiment. Alyssa Milano chose to use her platform in free speech to criticize an artist for using his platform and free speech. Do you see the irony of that? She doesn't want Aldean or Lewis to speak. It's easier to silence them than to debate them. The main problem with an actor or singer getting political is, one, it can alienate your fans. But two, it opens you up to criticism for a subject that you may not be that familiar with and haven't researched. What I personally like about what Aldean's wife Brittany said was to do your research. Did Milano say that? Did anyone who criticized Trump think to do their research before believing CNN and the New York Times and BuzzFeed about Russian collusion? Did they say, let's give Brett Kavanaugh due process and not just take Christine Blasey Ford at her word without any evidence or corroboration? Did they say that? No. They just take what they hear and run with it. That is not research. We all have to really take what the media says with a grain of salt because they've been wrong a lot. They have had to retract or correct articles. And that makes you wonder, was there an agenda? Was there multiple sourcing? That's journalism 101. So here's the thing. When you are a celebrity, I think it's fine to get political if, and I mean if, you have done your research and have the facts to back you up. The third musician that I'd like to profile today is Pitbull. At a recent concert, he said the following.
To whoever the fuck doesn't like the United States of America, may God bless you, but fuck you at the same time. If you don't like the United States of America, go back to the countries that we the fuck from, and you'll see how much you appreciate the United States of America.
Pitbull is a first-generation Cuban American, and he understands the dangers of communism firsthand, something that Alyssa Milano knows nothing about. And what Pitbull said is not partisan, it's just patriotic and sensible. His mother came to America through a Catholic charity initiative called Operation Pedro Pen, which is also how Maximo Alvarez came to America, whom I interviewed in a previous show. And I really encourage you to watch that episode. You will learn a lot. But see, when you see these first-gen people, they appreciate America because they know what they came from. Kind of ironic when you have avowed Democrat socialists like AOC sitting in Congress. So while Pitbull didn't lead any F Joe Biden chants, he is making a statement about how great this country is and perhaps the dangers of losing it. He doesn't like hearing it. He says something just as forceful and forthright, but something you would think would be universal. Yet the American flag has somehow become a divisive symbol for some. Patriotism is under attack, which is strange. There's an argument to be made that artists should not be political because it can stain their art for some people. But at the end of the day, aren't artists the most expressive of us? Aren't they taking us on a storytelling journey and asking us to think about a subject differently? Love, loss. Maybe it wouldn't be so divisive if the entertainment industry celebrated the expression of all viewpoints. But they don't. If you're a conservative or even a libertarian, you're a heretic. You may lose your career, your colleagues, and your friends. It'd be cool if actors and singers could just sit down and talk with each other about political topics, but they can't. And until they set an example like that, I don't see how we can ever reach this concept of tolerance or understanding. You probably have noticed that no one is really talking about Cuba anymore and how their people suffer under the grip of communism. Instead, Team Biden has been focusing on Haitian immigrants and the narrative that border agents whipped them, for which the New York Times actually had to issue a correction on their depiction of those agents. But Joe Biden went to war with the agents, saying he would make them pay. He didn't even research it. He just went with it. Jen Psaki went with it as well. And now they're tucking tail. Some of the confirmation hearings of Biden's cabinet and judges have been downright egregious. When you hear what these nominees or officials have said, it's crazy. And then there's the flat-out lie that Biden told about his military generals not advising him to keep troops in Afghanistan. Gavin Newsom is making decisions that parents should be making. When things come to a tipping point, that's when the bold and the unashamed must rise, just like Aldean, Lewis, and Pitbull have done. And while country music may perhaps have a few more conservative artists, and the audience might be conservative-leaning, it should extend through all genres of music. The beauty of this nation is being able to speak out and even speak critically when we wish to. This pandemic perhaps has made that all the more pressing as liberties get trampled on and decisions are taken out of your hands as individuals and parents. Medical freedom and medical privacy are now right at the forefront of people's minds. But Stephen Colbert is out there doing a stupid vaccine dance. Vaccine! Is that whom you trust for the right information? That is nothing more than a propaganda arm of the Biden administration, Anthony Fauci, and the Democrat Party. I've often found that the people who criticize America the most are the people who are benefiting from its liberties the most. People like AOC and Ilhan Omar, who have been democratically elected, they constantly crap on this country. Really and truly, I wouldn't mind more musicians or actors speaking out to defend basic liberties, which is not even a partisan issue really, but somehow it has become a left-right issue. That may be a product of socialism creeping into the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. So if the ideology is embraced by AOC, the Squad, and Gavin Newsom, then you don't have to be a Republican to push back. Like I've said before, I believe that conservatism is becoming the new counterculture because culture is being taken over by the very people who are pushing for regulation, speech suppression, mandates, and restriction of freedom. Quite a turn of the tide, right? And it does make you ponder. If this many people are chanting at sporting events, the youth of America are waking up. They're supposed to be the most liberal among us. But maybe they're just being more classically liberal or pro-freedom. That's why I say that conservatism and libertarianism are the new counterculture. When you have people like Joe Rogan releasing videos about freedom rather than Mitch McConnell or the GOP, you know you actually have a grassroots movement afoot. And frankly, I think if more celebs, who are after all just people like us, are just a tad more vocal, even if it's about freedom and parents' rights, it may help this movement reach more people. And sure, let the whiny Karens come out and chastise them. You'll see a groundswell of support the other way. That's the key. Be the backlash to the backlash. If no one pushes back, they win. Do you want Alyssa Milano to be the loudest voice in the room? Of course not. I think the more fearless these folks become, the more fearless we as citizens become. So I respect Jason Aldean, his wife, Aaron Lewis, and Pitbull for just speaking their minds, but in a thoughtful, fearless way. If Alyssa Milano wants to fearlessly spout her stuff, great. But that means that so can Jason Aldean and his wife. And Aldean moves the needle because he has thousands of people that come to his shows that want to enjoy live music. Perhaps the last great stand for freedom of assembly is music. Music can push the conversation, which is what it should do. It's consciousness. I'm Beau, and that's the show.